the Emerald Ash Borer. Brent is eagerly anticipating retirement when he can cycle even more. Meanwhile, he serves as executive director of the Bergamo Center and Mount St. John. Put your hands together for Brent Devitt.
Thank you. Okay, trees and cycling. Put them together and you have Trecycle. If you're looking for an extra E in Trecycle, well, in the U.S. there's already A, coffee shop, B, a recycler of wood and paper products, and C, a wooden bicycle maker that are already named Trecycle with 2 E's. Trecycle with 1 E is unique. This is a recumbent tricycle, which is a stable and safe mode of transport when you mount a tall flag, add lights, and wear reflective clothing. In 4 years and 20,000 miles of commuting and adventuring, this trike has more than paid for itself in savings and gasoline and car maintenance. Not to mention it's fun and it's comfortable to ride. The trike can be a great vehicle for adventure. This trike shipped to Europe and rolled through 8 countries with me on top of it, including a cycling pilgrimage on the Camino de Santiago. Maybe you've seen the movie The Way, which follows 4 walking pilgrims on the Camino. One named Yost, when he sees his first cyclist on the Camino, exclaims, "What? You can do this on a bicycle?" After returning from Europe, this arrow was painted at the foot of our driveway as a reminder that every day is an adventure and it doesn't have to be far away. Cycling to work 5 miles is an adventure. There's plenty to explore here in Ohio, especially the 330 miles we have in the Miami Valley. One inspiration is David Cornwait, who since 2006 has made a dozen different human-powered adventures of over 1,000 miles. I met David in 2014 at the Adventure Summit at Wright State. I later was accepted into the Begin Project for new adventures. In exchange for David's adventuring advice, I committed to raise $1,000 towards planting trees. Speaking of trees, the emerald ash borer entered Ohio in 2003. This invasive insect eats away at the inner bark and kills ash trees like these in my front yard. It's estimated that 254 million ash trees have been lost in Ohio. That's 1 of every 10 trees decimated by this insect. So, plans for a cycling adventure and planting trees at the same time in Ohio was soon born in 2015. The first step was to partner with Riverside Native Trees of Delaware, Ohio, and select 7 parks to plant in. Crowdfunding raised $1,000 to purchase the trees. Riverside delivered the trees to the parks. My original sketch for a logo was stylized by daughter Christine, who is a designer, and this is daughter Catherine, who models the resulting t-shirt. 24 shirts to give to volunteers were recycled from old shirts by turning them inside out and printing the logo on them. Okay, the goal was to plant 7 trees in 7 parks in 7 days. The trip on the Ohio to Erie Trail would be 333 miles from April 19th to April 25th, 2015, including Earth Day and Arbor Day. And in taking the scenic route in some spots, the trip actually ended up 385 miles. Trecycle adventure began at the Ohio River with one of the many supporters of Trecycle. This is Bill Hopple, the director of the Cincinnati Nature Center, who is my escort out of Cincinnati. You can see the purple People Bridge there in the background. I'll take a breath. Trecycle Adventure Day covered between 40 and 60 miles of triking and then somewhere along the way planting trees in a city, metro, county, state, or national park. Under the gaze of these buffalo, we planted 7 bur oak trees in Battelle Darby Creek Metro Park near Columbus. Over 7 days in April 2015, every kind of weather presented itself, from sunshine and 70 degrees to freezing and brief snow squalls. And that occurred all in 1 day. One park worker I met along the journey described it well. He said, "I've worked and traveled all over the country, but only in Ohio can you have all 4 seasons in 1 day." Each day was remarkable and each park was special. In the Cuyahoga National Park, my wife Michelle was able to join me to help plant 7 oak trees that may one day reach as tall as the sycamores that line the Ohio to Erie Trail. Day 7 was windy, but a welcome finish to the adventure at the shore of Lake Erie. 56 trees and shrubs were planted along the way. It took 120,000 petal revolutions, 20,000 calories. That's the equivalent of 74 scoops of ice cream or 120 beers. an encore, Trecycle 2016 this spring followed up and down the Little Miami and Simon Kenton trails from the lowest point in Ohio on the Ohio River in Cincinnati to the highest point near Bell Fountain. The whole adventure began and ended at home at the foot of the driveway. This year, cities along the way matched the crowdfunding of $1,000, and so doing doubled the impact to $2,000, so even more trees. Over 24 volunteers were involved this year in planting of over 256 trees in Urbana, Yellow Springs, Bell Fountain, Loveland, and Russ Nature Reserve. On these adventures could be seen all along the way signs of spring and nature's rebirth. I didn't realize until these rides that the buckeye tree is one of the first to unfurl its leaves each spring. So no, this is not a marijuana plant. Buckeyes have only 5 leaves, not 7. What's next? Yes, there are plans for Trecycle 2017, and someday the Buckeye Way, I'd like to do 1,440 miles around the Buckeye State, and hopefully planting more trees and exploring more of Ohio. Over 50% of this route is on existing trails. And after that, sail cycling. Add a sail to that easy chair on wheels and let the prevailing wind assist in trekking across the United States, not east to west, but north to south. That's the shortest way. And that's a dream now, but that's how it all begins, with a yearning for adventure, even at middle age. So, adventure and doing a good turn for the environment can be achieved from the seat of an easy chair on wheels. Remember, adventure sometimes begins right out your front door at the foot of the driveway. Happy trails, everyone. Thank you very much, and cheers.